Hey everyone, Mel here, your friendly neighborhood struggling author. Um, I just wanted to make this video because right now there's a lot going on in the world, and particularly I wanted to focus on some things that have been happening in the publishing community, especially on social media, more specifically on Twitter. And well, there are two particular things that I wanted to address. One was the publishing paid me hashtag. And well, there's not really anything new there. And it's only really showing, what different authors make and that kind of stuff. And really, that's not the main thing that there was nothing really shocking about that. It's long been known that it's about your lawyer and how much they think your novel is going to make and what they believe they can expect from it. But the main hashtag that I wanted to address was the BVM hashtag. BVM, I think it means Black Voices Matter hashtag. Now, this was an interesting idea that was pushed from the Pitmad people. So the people who run the Pitmad and Pitchmad contest on Twitter, which, if you don't know, are contests in which authors can pitch their novels, their manuscripts to would-be mentors, and those mentors would take them under their wings and help them to polish their manuscript and try to present it to an agent. These contests have been going on for the past few years. I recently took part in my second one, which is partly why I'm here. I initially took part in I think, Pitchmad, or maybe it was this one, a few years back to no avail. But this particular one was interesting because days before Pitmad started, the creators made it clear that they wanted to boost Black authors specifically. So they created a new hashtag to include in your pitch. And this was the BVM, hashtag BVM, Black Voices Matter. And it seems the point of this was to show support for Black authors in the writing community. This was interesting because there is, I actually fell for the bait, and I know using that phrase, fell for the bait. So when I did my pitch for two particular stories, I actually used the hashtag in both of them. And right off the bat, I received so many retweets. I received lots of retweets for and I think I set up like 5 different tweets each throughout the day, or between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. because that's the length of time you get to pitch on Twitter, the window. And I received so many retweets and people saying, "This sounds awesome. This is so great." And despite all the retweets that I got, I received no interest from anyone in the community that created Pitmad. So no one contacted me and say, "Hey, I would like to, see your manuscript." And of course, there are various reasons for that. I admittedly rushed to get my pitches out the day before I set it up, and maybe I could have done a better job. But it's important to know that all these things aside about your own self-doubt as whether your story is good enough, they're not going to know that until they actually look at it. And all the things that I consider generic in that those can be improved with a good editor. All those things considered, part of me was a little bit disappointed, to use that term, which is a weak term. But what I'm trying to say is there was a growing sense that these would-be mentors really genuinely wanted to see stories and ideas from from Black authors, and that was the reason for the hashtag, but ultimately it didn't seem to be the case. What seemed to happen is what I sometimes refer to as the Bradley effect. So the Bradley effect, for those who don't know, refers to a case in the 80s in California where there was a Black politician, I believe his name was James Bradley, who all the polls predicted would win the governorship of California. And he received a lot of support publicly in the media, and interviews with voters suggested that he would dominate the race, the um, you know gubernatorial race. And what happened was, by the time the results were read, he lost in a landslide. So despite what many voters, read white voters, told the media and told pollsters, they didn't vote for him. And I feel there is a little bit of this going on in publishing right now, especially on social media, where I am getting, like, Black authors, they're creating hashtags like BVM, and publishing paid me to draw attention to racial inequality and discrepancies within the publishing industry. But ultimately, all of it is just performative. And that's a key term, performative, as opposed to transformative, where they're actually doing stuff, like actually publishing Black authors. They're not publishing Black authors. They're not, agents are not, they're saying, Black authors, check me out, DM me, or Black authors, send your stuff to me, but they're not publishing more Black authors in the same way that hashtag BVM did little for me as a Black author, but I'm guessing it was simply performative. It didn't actually do anything for Black people looking to move into the publishing industry. And for me, I keep saying for me, but really this should annoy and piss off just about anyone. And I'm annoyed and pissed off. You might not be able to tell from my very calm face, but I can assure you, I can assure you, the goddess Bast is behind me, that I'm pissed off. I don't like being used as part of a stunt. I don't want to be used as a prop, as a token to make anyone feel as if they're not racist and that they're supportive. And, I was listening to a podcast called For All Nerds yesterday, and they made the distinction between performative activism and allyship versus transformative allyship. And they gave some examples, and I can't remember a lot of it right now, but the examples that they use. But basically, there is in particular, they were referring to that celebrity video where you had all those stupid celebrities, or maybe not stupid, but that's a strong word, but you had all these celebrities who were talking about their white privilege, and as well meaning and as narcissistic as that was, it was well meaning, but it was narcissistic too, and it was tone deaf in a way, because what is that going to do to solve the problem? Ultimately the problem is very real, and crying on video about how you benefit from privilege system, the way one of the examples they gave, the podcasters gave, about how these actors could make a difference is to ensure that Black producers and Black writers are in the room, and that they're not simply there to represent visually, and that their inputs are respected, and that they are on board, and they're not just simply there as tokens. And that was one of the ways they could do it. Not the way that not making videos about your white privilege, that's not going to help in any way. And in a way, I feel the BVM hashtag was a perfect example of this, where it was very performative but not transformative at all. I'm willing to guess it's not just me, but many of the Black authors who submitted were likely not picked up by any mentors. And so what was the point of it except to show false allyship? And again, their intentions might have been good, but it's using Black people as pawns to, in some ways, promote Pitmad. Not that I think Pitmad needs more promotion, but it feels like it. I feel as if I was used. I feel as if, and I can't, normally I'm wary of these things. I'm the only Black person in my department at work. And the other day, my boss checked in on me because in the middle of a meeting, we started talking about Black Lives Matter, and he noticed I was very quiet about it, and he checked in on me to see if maybe I was uncomfortable. And it's a good gesture, and I appreciate a gesture, but again, I am often very wary of being used as a token, being, taken advantage of in that regard, or in any way being put on the spot about my Blackness. So the fact that I actually went through with the BVM hashtag for Pitmad was actually surprising even to me, but I feel, as a struggling author trying to get that break, it was just me putting myself out there and, and saying whatever happens, happens. But I genuinely believe that the hashtag meant to some degree that the mentors will work with Black authors as opposed to just retweeting us and cheering us on as we post our work and our pitches, which is what happened. There was a lot of empty cheers and empty applause. It made me feel like that special kid in the class that everyone claps and cheers for excessively, while not because the kid did anything special, but because they just felt the need to do that to make him feel special. Again, no one wants to be used that way, to be put on the spot that way, and I wasn't very amused by any of it. And really, I want my money back. And I'm just saying, regardless of your intentions, good or not, please don't use Black people as pawns. Maybe that day will come when I will, in fact, get that publishing contract that I really want, or at the very least, get in the door with an agent. But if you're an agent, please stop with this false camaraderie, this false allyship, this kind of false outrage, and this kind of Bradley effect nonsense. It doesn't help your case. It just annoys me and every single Black author and Black creatives. Put your Twitter mouth, as I wrote, where your money is. Sign Black authors. Don't just simply tell them to use hashtags and then retweet their stuff. Sign them, look at their work, help them in that regard, help them get their stuff through the door, and be open-minded to them. Another thing I wanted to touch upon: be open-minded to us. We're not, give us, if you're going to insist that you want to show support, be transformative in that support. That is to say, take action. Don't just simply perform don't just simply perform your allyship. Actually take action.